Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. The only place where you can find someone crazy enough to live stream the ZX81 microcomputer. Welcome everyone to 1981. We're now playing every video game released at some point in 1981 in alphabetical order. We last left off with Dunjonquest, or one of the dungeon quests. We played Temple of Apshai and Morlock's Tower, and the last one that we have is Dunjonquest, the Datestones of Rin. Let's check it out and see what this one's like compared to the other ones. Starting with the artwork. Here is front of the box of Datestones of Rin. Oh, it doesn't even say Dunjonquest on the front of the box. Battle a band of robbers and recover the crown jewels in a deadly race against time. And there's the back of the box. So this one has, again, we have some lore on the left side, and then, as usual, superb graphics, instead with the other Dungeon Quest games. Computer-generated map with Apple and Atari. You get high-resolution color and sound. And that's what we'll be playing on our Atari home computer. It's also a real-time role-playing game. Race Against the Clock is a new feature. They haven't had that before, but playtime is only 10 to 20 minutes. I doubt it. As long as this game takes to load, I don't think you can play for 10 minutes. We'll see. And then for game contents, in the box we have a colorful 16-page book of lore with the game program data file for your computer. And an ad announcing 3 challenging new games for your Atari. And there we go, in the top left corner. Oh no, sorry, at the bottom of the ad is the Datestones of Rin. The treasured Datestones have been stolen by a dastardly band of robbers. Your mission is to retrieve them before the thieves can escape. Has real-time action that keeps you on the edge of your seat. At least the ad says so. An example of a screenshot. Let's see, for manual. We have a manual for this one. Love it when we get the manual. So here we go. This is published by Epix, the Datestones of Rin. And I believe this is one of their MicroQuests series or MicroQuest games. It's not a sequel to Temple of Apshai. It's like a side mission or a side game. So you can see the book of lore and game design is by John Freeman. Way to go, John. With several people that are involved in the game. And then the intro of this kind of like sets the precedent for, do you like fantasy role-playing, or do you like fairy tale stories and so forth? And you're going to love these games. So it breaks down what a role-playing game is. It allows you a chance to step outside a world grown too prosaic for magic and monsters, doomed cities and damsels in distress, and enter instead a universe in which only quick wits, the strength of your sword arm, and a strangely carved talisman around your neck may be the only thing separating you from a pharaoh's treasure or the mandibles of a giant mantis. Yes, we are in role-playing territory. So scrolling through all of that part, it does break down character and equipment, which we've seen this with the other Dunjonquest games. Strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, intuition, ego. And then it has, yes, we are playing as Brian Hammerhand. In the very first Dunjonquest game, Temple of Apshai, that's who you played as. And whenever you begin the game, you make choices like what weapon or armor you're going to wear and so forth. It's very similar to the tropes we saw with Akalabeth, and that they're trying to make it so it's not as detailed as a Dungeons & Dragons game, but still gives you vibes of a Dungeons & Dragons game. The hardcore Dungeons & Dragons game at this point would be Wizardry. If you want to play like Dungeons & Dragons on your computer, then you need to check out Wizardry. All right, so this is the story. I guess we'll kind of get a preview of what they said before. There's robbers. We had to go take them out, and they give us a lot of lore for the game. And there you go. There's some more artwork, possibly us killing one of the robbers. Yeah, that looks like us. So how do you play this? It's easy to learn and play Dungeon Quest. Since the rules of the game are actually programmed in the computer's memory, there's very little you need to know to play the game. They make it sound so easy, but if you saw any of the other Dungeon Quest games, if you want to turn left, you push L on the keyboard. You want to turn right, you push R on the keyboard. And even when we have this on an Atari computer where you can plug in an Atari joystick, the game still is using the keyboard controls. How many steps do you want to walk forwards? You put that number down. So to say it's easy, maybe I don't know, maybe not even in 1981. It's not as intuitive, I guess. At least the manual said this easy, so we'll go along with it. So how do you score the game? It's going to be after 20 minutes, you get a score based on how many treasures you've picked up, and then largest part of your scores come from recovering the Datestones. Sorry, not treasure, Datestones. You also get points for slaying opponents, but only if you survive. Typical score for a first-time player is 500 to 1,000 points. Still, the role-playing games have points. It's 1981. You got to have that high score. So how do you begin the game? It shows you how to enter and exit dungeons. The display is going to show like an example of a screenshot. There we go. Example of what the game looks like. And I believe this is similar screenshot we saw on the TRS-80. But this one is for the Atari, so we should have better graphics than that. Yeah, it is kind of interesting in the chat. The joystick and keyboard to go back and forth would just seem strange. So I guess maybe they want to keep it simple and only do keyboard. But it's still, considering the other games we played up to this point, this one still seems a little archaic to say L to turn left and R to turn right and then 4 to move forward. Yeah, it's not considering the other games. All right, so it gives you an example of a screenshot and then shows us our wounds, fatigue, weight, and it breaks those down and what those mean. And so we can refer back to that if we need to, but here we go. This is the commands. It's 0 to 9, turn right, turn left, V to turn around, and then you have all these special commands that if you type in, it'll do those for you, like Y to drink a potion and so forth. So it breaks down movement. There's 4 commands: move space to the whole number to 0. Okay, yeah, use number 0 to 9, and you cannot use fractions or decimals, so I can't move a step and a half. Sorry. Yeah, so maybe, yeah, with 1983. Oh, that's true. Yeah, when we get to those. But it's amazing that what we have seen, sprinkling in a little role-playing elements on the video game scene. I didn't think we were going to see something like Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Blew me away. All right, so as we scroll down, we got special commands. 5 special commands for the Datestones of Ren, like healing, using secret doors, traps, finding treasure, speaking with monsters, potions. And then the attack commands, you attack with your sword. To attack with a bow, you must be facing a monster that's further away. And if you fire an arrow while the monster's in range, it becomes easier to attack. So to fire a normal arrow, you type F, and M fires a magic arrow. And this game has fatigue. The longer you play, your fatigue is going to go down. And I think if you just stand still, we saw our fatigue went up, at least in the other Dunjonquest games. And then how to heal your wounds, use potions, I believe, something like that. And then we have the monsters. Do they break them down like they do in the other ones? No, they don't. So the other games, or the main series of games, Temple of Apshai, and we played Hellfire Warrior, the true sequel, those have a lot of information about the rooms you're in and the enemies. So whenever you play the game and you see the enemy on the screen, you read like a background story of the enemy. Way ahead of its time. Lots of detail. So here we go. This is a breakdown of the Dunjonquest series. And so they, is this what they say, call it a micro adventure or something to that effect? Yeah, they say the Datestones of Ren's a fraction of the size of a full Dunjonquest game. So what we're playing is not a full-on, like, Temple of Apshai or Hellfire Warrior. And once inside, you can bring the Okay, so this also doesn't... yeah, this one includes the program where if you have a character, you can use that to move or save the character and move it to another game and play it on that one. So they're just letting you know you can't do it here. This one's like a standalone, play it all together. And then it's pretty cool at the very bottom here. So it actually says, oh, nice, there's a date. This is the how to load, and it says it was July 9th, 1981, at least for this card. So how to insert into the drive, and then, wait a second, using the joystick. Plug the joystick into before turning the computer. Wait a second, wait. Maybe this one has joystick control. Let's see. So for different versions, we have the disc and cassette version. I'm going to try the disc version. Usually that one is a little bit better. So at some point in 1981, or maybe in July of 1981, we got the Datestones of Ren, a side quest or a side micro quest for the Dunjonquest series. If anyone is a hardcore role-playing fan, this is the oldest series, or one of the oldest series that you could play. All right, so we're in. Now, does the joystick work? I pushed the red button and it worked. It did. The joystick responded, at least there. So whenever you begin this, it's going to give you a character summary. You don't pick any options or things like that. It's just all there, and then you go. You don't even say whether you want to keep it or not. It's just, there's all your weapons, arrows, shield, weight, armor, everything. And then you just go into the game. Let's do a little speed up. So a little fast forward there. Now we're playing, and I move the joystick, and... no way, it's moving. The joystick works. At least it moved to the right. So I went to the next room. It's drawing the next room, and I don't believe this. So we played 2 other games on the Atari 800, and it didn't load for us. So how do I shoot an arrow with the joystick? If I try attack, it's saying... okay, there's one of the robbers. So robber's moving closer to me now. And if I try... yeah, I tried the attack, and it doesn't work. I don't know if I can... can I hit here? I'm also listening for sound to see what it does. I'm not moving closer to the robber. I want to see if he can move closer to me. Okay, there, I'll move next to him. Now smash. And then the robber missed. Go, 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 go. So all I'm doing is I'm just mashing the red button on the Atari joystick to see what happens. So it is doing it real time. It's a little bit slower than what I was expecting, but it is recognizing the command I have. Oh, maybe the robber is just stealing from me now. I haven't been keeping up with my stats. Am I losing gold standing next to the robber? Let's try moving over here. Oh, there we go. So if I turn to the other side, now can I attack? The fact that I'm able to do a joystick control, though, is amazing. Was not expecting the last game to be that. What's going on? It's so slow, though. I'm waiting for the command. I'm pushing attack. And I still got... Oh, there we go. It worked. So missed. Go, go, go. Yes. Okay, there we go. So it gives us even a little bit of animation, too. Very rare for the time. And we got him. Nice. So robber down. Monster slain. The robber's a monster. And didn't drop anything. No Datestone. So we keep on our merry way down the hallway. We still have stats. And you can see as I move, my fatigue's coming back up after the fight. It shows how many monsters I've slain. And then arrows, though. How would I do an arrow? It's still looking like it's only my sword I can do on the joystick. So maybe I have to do the keyboard and kind of bounce back and forth between keyboard and joystick. All right, so let's head down this hallway here. And I know the movement is slow. It seems like tile-based, but I'm holding the joysticks, holding the Atari joystick, and then just waiting for it to move. So here, I'm holding down, and then he's going to... He readjusted, moved down, and now it's going to draw the next area. When we played this on the TRS-80, the time it took to draw every room was very, very tedious, very slow. All right, so we got another robber. Let's see if he's got a Datestone. So I'm going to move into him and go for it. So I'm holding down the attack button. Let's see if I just hold it down. Oh, did we get him already? Nice. So there's two guys down. No stone from that guy. I'll keep moving down south here. The fact that we can play with a joystick already makes this better than the other ones well, I don't know about... the Temple of Abshai is massive. It's a very large game. Very complex. And is that a Datestone? Here, let's see if we can go and attack now. Crunch. If you can hear any of the sounds, they have a little bit of sound effect, but not too much there. It's still silence as we dungeon crawl. Okay, so we're over the top now. How do we pick up the stone? All I know is I'm using the button on the joystick. Okay, so let's do the manual. How do we pick it up? I got the stone, but I didn't automatically pick it up. All right, there we go. Commands. I need to... special. Search. Oh, G is to grab treasure. Of course it is. G. 2 stones. There we go. All right, so this one is very much like a streamlined game. It doesn't feel like I'm playing a hardcore role-playing game. It feels like I'm playing more of a... I don't want to say like arcadey, but it's a faster-paced game. Oh, another robber. Get him. Am I hitting him? It missed. So it's using the joystick, but I just have to hold the joystick in the direction I want and wait, and eventually I'll move to that point. And for attacking, I'm just holding down the red button. As I'm holding the red button down, then it keeps attacking over and over again. So simple, but it works. We'll get another one. Oh, that showed up over here. So I'm moving over to the right side. Let's get close to this guy. So this one kind of puts me on the fence on like which game would be the more fun game to play in 1981, because another one, okay, holding the button down, because this one is easier to approach whenever you want to play a game like a dungeon crawler. I can move with the joystick. I know it's not like action based. I'm holding the button down to move down into this room, and I wait. Oh, there we go. We got another stone. So it reveals the room, and now I'm holding down the button, and it's doing the attacking for me as I hold it down. And so it's very simple. So it's almost like the difference between when we played Atari video games and then went to the Intellivision. Some people would prefer this rather than the other Temple of Abshai because it's easier to pick up and play. All right, so the same thing. G, how many stones do we got? 4 stones. We are on a roll. I can understand how this would be 10 minutes of gameplay. You don't have to go extremely long. I think in Temple of Apshai it said you could play from 30 minutes to the rest of your life, or however long you want to play. And this one, I can see you just pick up and play, want to go do some dungeon crawling, and then I don't know for sure if you can save your character. I know there's saving, but I don't think you can carry it on to other Brian Hammerhand games or Dunjonquest games. All right, so let's go up north. It automatically adjusts and moves the character to the side. And then I did want to try, I have arrows, so I remember it was F for normal arrows, and then M. I have 2 magic arrows. I won't waste those. But let's go north and see if we can fire someone or shoot from someone farther away. Yeah, I'm with you there. Very good point. Oh man, Zelda. If we ever get to Legend of Zelda, I'm going to flip out, especially with getting the context of all of this and every game we're going to see up to that point. We're going to be able to play it first on the Famicom disc system. So the very first release, and then much later, then we'll get the North American release. Oh, I forgot about attacking with my arrow. So we're at the end, but oh wait, we got spiders? No. Can I attack? I don't know if my sword works on spiders. Oh, we did. Okay, sword does work. Good. All right, so pushing G to pick it up. If you've seen the other games we have played, the role-playing games, we don't get as far. Oh, shoot it. F. Swamp Rat. So it did work to shoot an arrow. I'm really close to it. So now I'll hold. It did work. Nice. That obviously looked like a swamp rat. So realistic. High-res graphics. I really don't mean to pick on it because this is much more fun and easier to play than the other role-playing games in the Dunjonquest series. All right, so let's move down one more time. Oh, the time's getting shorter, it looks like, because we're getting closer to the edge. There's not as many elements they put into this game to kind of cram content into. It's more streamlined. When you jump in and play, it's more of you kind of understand what you need to do and what's going on. I'm not going on a massive quest to save the world or anything like that. You just drop in a dungeon, pick up your stones, kill enemies, and then get out and get a high score. Oh, the Rogue games. Yeah, that's true. We actually haven't seen the release of Rogue by Epix, same company that we're seeing here. We've seen lots of roguelikes already, and we're going to see more. And I think in 82 is when we'll see Rogue, but time will tell. All right, so that was the latest Dunjonquest, the Datestones of Rin. Of all the Dunjonquest games, now, if we look back at the other ones we played so far in 1981, Temple of Apshai still is up there because of the content, but you only have keyboard controls. So, yes, that's right. That's right. All right, so the Datestones of Rin, because of how easy it is to pick up and play, I'm not going to hit it as average. It's a very good game. Is it better, though, than Temple of Apshai? That's going to be tricky. So if we look back at how we rated the others, I can see Morlock's Tower being what we rated it, which was at three stars, pretty average. And then Temple of Apshai, we gave it 1 bump up for 3.5, so just slightly above average the other video games you could play at the time. Datestones of Rin, it doesn't have as much content as the other ones, but it's still very fun. I'm going to rate, again, it's above average, just a notch above the other games you could play at the time. Not really pushing it to the point, it's to the level of some of the best games you could play, just because it doesn't have as much content to it. It's very simple, but it's still very good. All right, so with that, let's see what's next after the Datestones of Rin. We're now going to England, and this is the Acorn Atom, with another rendition of Will It Crash? This is Early Warning for the Acorn Atom. Let's take a look at the artwork. I believe we just have the front of the cassette tape, and yep, that's it. Just the front of the cassette tape. All right, here we go. Let's see, first of all, if it runs, and what Early Warning is really about. Released at some point in 1981 by A&F Software. All right, so first off, let's make us load this sucker. We got to get the cassette tape loaded in, and then after we get the cassette tape loaded, we need to know how to run it. I've done a few of these. I still don't know what's going to happen. You never know. All right, so here we go with the Acorn Atom. First thing is, I'm going to just say, let's try load, and I bet it's Early Warning is my guess. Ready? Yes, we got it. The cassette tape ran, and it worked. We're all the way in. We're in the game. Okay, so that's the first step. Now, the second step is how do you control it? Because we have no manual, and the game didn't give us any instructions. We're also on the Acorn Atom keyboard. So right off the bat, I'm going to just try a few things that I'm used to on the Acorn Atom to see a few keys. I got nothing. No, okay, wait, I found left and right. So we're in control of a cursor, and it looks like it's giving us a radar around the outside. So first time playing or checking out this is early warning for the Acorn Atom, and it looks like I'm... Oh, okay, so it's a radar telling me they're coming to this spot, and then I'm going to try spacebar. Nice, did I get it? Yes, I got him. Okay, so the radar's going around, and the way the game works is it's revealing the enemies that are getting closer to the center, and then you, kind of like missile command, then you fire off your missile. Let's see where the next one is. I can't figure out down, though. I can only move left, right, and up. Those are the only 3 keys I've figured out so far. So I'm going to try different ones. But it looks like it might get the best of me this time. But whenever you want to shoot, it fires it off from the center and then explodes wherever that shot is. And if you make it in the right spot, then you blow them up. So kind of cool. I don't think I've ever seen any game. We haven't seen any game up to this point that's taking the missile command formula and putting it from a top-down view instead of a side view. And the radars are really nice touch. So I actually kind of like the idea. And then whenever you fire, yep, shoots from the center place, just like missile command. Pretty cool and quaint. And I would say one of the best games we've played on the Acorn Atom when we got into load. I do not know how to move down, though. It's another key that is eluding me at the moment. But I do know how to fire. And I do know how to move up, and I know how to move left and right. But when you get a game that's obscure as this, that doesn't have a manual or there's no instructions before you begin the computer game, then it gets a little dicey. It looks like we're going to lose this round. But I did get five total points on early warning. Oh, yeah, they got me. So it's like the missile's coming closer and closer. With an explosion so big, it looks like it's going to crash the Acorn Atom. Too cool. All right, I'm surprised we haven't seen that yet. Why haven't there been any other games that have done that formula before? All right, I'm going to back out, go back here, listen to Chris Curry talk about how amazing the Acorn Atom is. All right, so that is the best Acorn Atom game we've played. I like that idea. Take a radar and turn it into a missile command type game. It is not implemented as good as anything else we've seen, but it is not bad. I'm going to go ahead and give it around the average range from everything else we've seen. I'll do 2.5 stars for early warning. Of all the video games we played, it's around the average range. It's pretty cool. All right, so that's early warning for the Acorn Atom. And now let's see where we're going and what game we're playing next. We're back on the Atari home computer, and this is Eastern Front 1941. This is a game I'm familiar with because I believe it was ported to the Atari XEGS, or the Atari ZEGS, the home console based on the Atari XE computer. So if it was here, first released in 1981, it's got to be good for them to bring it to the console version of the Atari home computer, right? Maybe, let's see. All right, starting off with the box. So here's the front of the box. APX, so another one by Atari Program Exchange. User-written software for Atari home computers. So this is a one-player simulation of Germans' invasion of Russia, ages 10 and up. Any other artwork we have besides the box? We have the cassette tape. This is by Chris Crawford. Way to go, Chris. And the 5 1/4 floppy disk. There we go. Anything else? Nope, just the picture of the screenshot. We have a manual for a strategy game. Oh my goodness. All right, so APX, user-written software for Atari home computers. This is, take a look at the requirements. The cassette version is 16K. The disc version is 32K. That's up there with minimum requirements for computers in 1981. And you also have to have one Atari joystick. So this one is an interesting release because the APX games that come out, we've seen a few of them that were really good. what happens with the really good ones is they get re-released when they're made by people, and then Atari realizes, oh, this is really good, we got to re-release it, so they give better box work or manual work and stuff. So this is one of those games that it comes out, and Chris, what was the name for the developer again? Chris Crawford. So when Chris Crawford did this originally in 1981, it got picked up and re-released, I believe, 3 other times. And I'm talking released 3 other times on the Atari 400 and 800. So this manual is 1982, because I believe this is one of the other versions of the manual, because there's a lot of versions of this game, and it even gets released on the Atari XE computer, and then also on the Atari home console, the XEGS, which we'll probably see it again, at least released for that console. So this is the very first time you would have seen this game. And it's another strategy game, not by SSI, which is surprising. We usually get the crazy strategy games on by SSI. So here's our manual. We got about 13 pages, which is kind of nice. There's the overview. The Eastern Front 1941 is a simulation of Operation Barbarossa, the German invasion of Russia during World War II. This campaign is the invasion that lasted nearly 4 years and swept away perhaps 20 million lives. You play the part of the German commander, maneuvering your combat units to obtain a good position before the winter sets in and the Russian counteroffensive begin. This is an exceptionally complex game. I wish every game warned us of that like this did. You should read the manual thoroughly before attempting to play the game. Oh man. Well, if it made it to a home console, it can't be that complex. I'm optimistic that this isn't going to be as crazy complex as the other SSI games we played. So required versions, we have cassette or disc. We'll be playing on the disc version. And then you have to have a joystick, which is awesome for a strategy game. So how do you load the game? We can skip by that. So we have a trial run. Use that to familiarize yourself with the mechanics of the game. Then we have the map. Look around the map and familiarize yourself with the terrain. And then you can inspect units. Press the red joystick button, the only one you got on your Atari joystick. And then how do you give orders to units? You release the joystick and the beep stops, and you give an order to that unit. A green arrow appears, and then you can indicate which path they're going to take. This is awesome. If it's a strategy game that runs on an Atari joystick, this will be the first time we've ever seen that. I'm trying to think of other strategy games, like SSI games. If they were strategy, they were all keyboard. We never had anything controlled with a joystick so far. How do you execute orders? And then new turn sequence, and then the historical background for it. That's pretty cool. Then we have the mechanics, zones of control, historical background, and then the mechanics of how zones of control work. And we've seen this trope on other SSI games. Looks like they're simplifying it a little bit compared to those. And then if we scroll down, it talks about the combat and historical background too. So it's not an educational game, but lots of history that they put in the manual for this one. Really cool. All right, so logistics. How do you end the game? The game lasts until March 29th, 1942, which is the 41st turn. So it's a turn-based game. Highest possible score is 255 points. It's a strategy game, and there's still points. I don't know why I'm surprised. It's 1981. Everything was point-based. And then computer thinking. Oh, I wonder how long that's going to take. Look, it says it here, the computer working at 1.79 megahertz. The odds are that you will be the only one to suffer from lack of time. And then they give some hints and strategy and tactics for the game. And then the designer notes has information that they put in. Really excellent manual. Now, this is a revision. This is not the original 1981 manual. I think this was the second or third revision. And then there's also a manual when it came out for the console. Oh, there we go. And I got the map of the whole place. So scrolling down, oh, we have the review form. Nice. So we didn't showcase this before. When you were part of the Atari Program Exchange and you made your own game and then submitted it, and they put it on this, they published it for you, they always had a form in the back of the manual that you filled out on how good the game was. And this is why some of the games that we've started to see have been elevated to the level of a better release. This one even got a cartridge release for the Atari home computer before it was on the console. And so I'm sure things were people putting in, hey, how good this game is, and they wrote everything in this form. I mean, look at this, 11 questions. Then you mail it back to Atari. I'm sure people were telling how good the game was. And there he is, Chris Crawford, Fremont, California. We got a smile from a developer. We'll take it. Yeah, there you go. It gives some information for recommended for teenagers and up, written in machine language. Pretty cool manual for APX, at least for that revision. And then you can see here, here's the versions. We have 1981 and then 1982. So we're going to start with the 1981 version for the APX. Play a little bit with that one, and then see what the 1982 one was, because we will see it again, I believe, when it has the cartridge release for the computer. So here we go. Eastern Front, 1941, for your Atari home computer. There we go, 1981. Enter your orders now. All right, so right off the bat, no way, that's pretty cool. So I'm using the joystick, and the game booted up correctly. And now look at this, the joystick is scrolling the screen. How much scrolled? Wait a second. Whoa. This is pretty good, Chris. For 1981, I am freely moving around a map. And this is the original 1981 release. Okay, so now I can see how people were saying how good this is. It's asking us to give orders, and we have different symbols on the map for the different places and locations. So it just says enter orders. So if we try to move on a unit and push the button, what happens? Enter your orders for... Wait. Oh, okay, the red's the Russian units, of course, and this is the German units, I bet in white. So what you do is you hold down your Atari button, and there you go, I'm a Panzer Corps right now. What do I want to do? I can see my combat strength and muster strength. If I move this way, it says I'm going to move that direction, I guess? Oh, yeah, showing the movement for it. So I want to do that. And then when I let go, I bet it won't let me move because the enemies are in the way, right? Oh, okay, it's giving the command. So I'm telling them to move that way. And let's try it with this one. Move all the way over here. If there's Russian units in the way, I don't think it'll work. And then I think it's waiting now, because after I issued commands, now it's looking for the computer to do its turn. But how intuitive. Of all the strategy games of 1981, this one allows us to use an Atari joystick to move the cursor around, and then with the only button, I'm controlling and moving the units. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is amazing. First of all, for an APX game, and then for just a strategy game in general. Okay, so let's check out the 1982 version. I don't know how much is going to be different about it, but I just wanted everyone to see that really in 1981 we had this game. All right, so let's go play the 1982 version, which is just a slightly modified. I think this is when APX picked it up and re-released it. So let's see if there's any differences. I don't think there is, but we'll play this one to see. The manual that we just read is based on this version. Okay, so there we go. Copyright 1982. Okay, so we have a different one. Select, and I'm pushing select on the Atari computer, and I have different skill levels, which is different than the 81. So you can see I got learner, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert. So we'll do learner again, and I'll push start to begin. And then now we're here, June 22nd, 1941. And just like we had before, I can enter orders for units. So what happens if I click on this? That's Leningrad. Nice. This is Riga. Okay, this is so cool. So with an Atari joystick, I'm able to move around and select things. Does it tell me what this is? No, it doesn't highlight trees, but I still got to know what the cities are. So I can see this here. We have Smolensk, and then we have Minsk, and then here's one of my units here. Let's see if we can move them, give them a command. And this is my Panzer Corps. It shows you the information, and then what do I want to do with them? I want to get them over here, and they can follow a path. Will it go all the way to Minsk? Let's see. Okay, it is only 8 orders. It gave me a warning. I can only issue 8 orders for each side. And then here's Warsaw. So Poland's over there, and then what's over here? That should be okay. That's Kiev. Wow, this is awesome. I gotta admit, of all the strategy games we played, this is one I would want to play more. To learn more about how the commands work. I'm intrigued because the Atari joystick works, and how easy it is to pick up and play, but it's still complex. So even though the manual said this is a very complex game, it might be behind the scenes, but it's implemented so well. There's Oral, and where's the rest of my units? I'm scrolling around. Okay, there's a Russian unit. I guess because you kept it on simple. So we got one militia army, and in Moscow right there. All right, so now how do I go to the next turn? Because I moved my unit. Let's see what happens if I try it again. Okay, it's showing what the path I said to pick. Let me see what the manual says. After you move and you say what commands you want, then how do you go to the next screen? Do we still need to use some things on the keyboard? So there we go. A green arrow appears. You can add more orders pressing the joystick in another direction or the original. After releasing it, each time you do the steps in that direction you indicated, you can enter a maximum of 8 orders each unit. If you release the red button, you must wait for the Malta Cruz to appear before you can add more orders. If you make a mistake giving orders, you can erase them pressing the space bar. It will return to the location of the cursor. The cross is the Malta Cruz. Malta Cruz, I'm not familiar with how to pronounce that one. In this game, it marks the current objective of a German unit. So you hear the feedback beep, and it moves one step in the direction you selected. So each time you do, it steps in that direction, and you have a maximum of 8 orders for each unit. Okay, so if we see here, I selected this one, and it's moving in the way that I said. So only 8 orders are allowed. And then I am done. So now what? I push start. Oh my gosh, so cool. So you push start, and then it executes your orders. And it must be because I'm playing on training mode. I only have 1 unit. So I have 1 unit, and we want to go take out the other one over there. And it's going to continue its move, so I can push start and execute that move, which means let's check on the enemy. Enemies up here. Okay, they're still chilling. They're just hanging out here in Moscow. Okay, so the unit's there. Let's move the unit up to Moscow and see what happens if I try to move water. Does it go across? Looks like it does. Okay, let's execute. And then the other unit's still not moving. And it looks like it takes longer to move through the water. So every one of these is a turn, and you can see the dates going up. Now it's July 27th. And now it's wanting orders because that's where I left it off. And I can move. I tried moving diagonally and it didn't work. But you move the cursor where you want to. Can I attack a city? Let's try that. And then I don't know if it did attack. I don't think it did. Yeah, let's do it. Well, I'm in the city, so now can I do any combat orders? Or maybe it's only for the units. So let's try moving it up to the unit up here in Moscow. And then execute the order. Move it there. And then again. And so you can see the date going up every time a turn goes. The enemy isn't doing anything, though, which is interesting. Got it. So we're attacking the Russians. Oh, wait, did they kill? They wiped us out. So we had game over because we tried to attack them in Moscow. And then it looks like we got advanced to the next level. So then it begins the next level. But wow, that's really cool. So that was just a small taste of it. I want to play more to learn more about how it works. Of all the games we played up to this point, that is one of the best video games you could play because of all, first of all, we got scrolling left, right, down, and diagonal on the screen. Second of all, it's controlled with an Atari joystick and 1 button. I can't believe it. I actually want to do 5 stars. Of all the games we played, it's we also gave it a learner. We were playing on learner difficulty, so I'm sure if we bumped up the difficulty, we'd have more units to move and coordinate. But it's one that I would want to check out and play more because of how well it's played. It's almost like when we had role-playing games that are more intuitive for the time. This seems like something that shouldn't be 1981. This is something that we'd see later on a Super Nintendo. So I'm going to go 5 stars for Eastern Front 1941. Well deserved as one of the best video games you could play. All genres are welcome here. So if you're playing this, if you're seeing this video and you're like, what in the world are you talking about? That was terrible. You're probably not a fan of tactical games or strategy games, and I understand. All right, so with that, let's move forward and see what our next game is. Oh, I forgot about this one. I forgot to put this in here. Okay, so this is Elementary Volume 6 on the Apple II. And if you're thinking to yourself, why in the world would you put Elementary Volume 6 on the Apple II on here? Well, so just imagine it's 1981, you're in Minnesota, and you're a little kid in elementary school. And you're doing your rotation of different places, and they have an Apple II in the room. And you come down and you sit down at your computer. This is technically 1980. I put this in because I'm trying to cover all the rest of the games that we forgot about in 1980, so they're not forgotten. And you can see it started with MECC. And whenever you sit down at the computer, you have all these selections of games you can pick from to play at your rotation for your computer. And one of the games you can pick from is a game called Oregon. Everyone, this is the very first time that you could play Oregon Trail on a computer ever, because before this it was teletype. This is the very first time anyone could play Oregon Trail, and we're going to check out the very first rendition of it. So this is like a carbon copy of what the teletype was to personal computers. Before this, it was the printing it off on a teletype. This is the very first time anyone could play it. So here we go. Let's push number 3, hit enter, and this is what the first Oregon Trail was like, and it was just called Oregon because it was one of the selections on Elementary Volume 6. There we go. This program simulates a trip over the Oregon Trail from Independence, Missouri. We have music. No way. I wasn't expecting the music. I really thought it was going to be just silence because it was an educational game. So anyway, you go from Missouri to Oregon City. Your family of 5 will cover the 2,040-mile trail in 5 or 6 months if you make it alive, if you don't get dysentery. You've saved $900 to spend on the trip, and you've paid $200. Spacebar. So there you go. He gives readings. You have the oxen, food, ammunition, clothing, miscellaneous supplies, and this is what they would read in school. And then you spend all your money before the start of the trip at forts along the way. You can hunt on your way to Oregon. When you do the hunt, you'll be shooting at animals as they move across the screen by pressing a key. Good luck. So how good of a shot are you? That's right, it was Home on the Range. I'm glad it's over, though. If you kept playing the entire time, I'd probably have to lower the volume. So how good of a shot are you? Enter one of these above. We have never played the first Oregon Trail, so we'll say we're a good shot. Wait, we got shaky knees? Oh, I see. So that's not... I don't want good shot. No, I don't. I want... let's do 3. Fair Midland, maybe? Okay, how much do you want to spend on oxen? Now, you just pick the money. You just put the money in. I think we had... I'll do 100 on oxen. And then... Food... Oh, wait, no. Is it still on oxen? Food, I want 10. Let's do that. Oh, you got to spend $200 to $300? Oh my gosh. Okay, so 200. And then food, we'll do 200. Ammunition, 100. Does 100 work? Okay. Clothing, 100. I think we had 600 total. I can't remember, but very different than the other Oregon Trail games. So there you go. We spent $700. We got nothing left. $0 to spend along the way. So all we just said is how much money we wanted to spend. We didn't get to do the details. I'm familiar with the other Oregon Trails, but not this one. The very first time anyone can play it, I guess it's closer to the teletype version. So here we go, preparing for the journey. We're going on the very first Oregon Trail. It's not even called the Oregon Trail. It's just called Oregon. So there is the cool map of the United States. Is there any animation at all? Or is it just user interface? So it shows, yep, the date, our food, clothing, cash. Now, do you want to stop at the next fort, hunt, or continue? I got to try hunting. What's hunting like? How do you hunt on the first Oregon Trail? Press any key to shoot. And you get, oh my gosh, we got a direct hit. So you shoot and a spatter of bullets comes. It's like a spatter of the slowest shotgun shells ever. But there's animation of the animal. Yeah, this is crazy timing, though. Look at this. You have to wait until, yeah, I'm just missing every time. And if after that, then you're done. That's it. So do you want to eat? We want to eat well. We even bought food, so we should be good. And then it updates the user interface. Bandits are attacking. Uh-oh. What does that mean? Press any... Oh, we can shoot the bandits? Sweet! I don't think we can, though, with our super slow shotgun shells. We got slow-mo bullets. Look how fast that guy's moving. I guess you got to think it... What's the bandit doing? It looks like he's having a party on top of the horse. I don't think we should be scared of these bandits. We missed. Can I time this a little better? Let's see if I do it now, and then by the time he wraps around the screen... No. Wow, that's a tricky concept of the gun in the original Oregon Trail. Welcome to Oregon, the game where you get to go across the United States. All right, so you got shot in the leg and they took one of your oxen. Better have a doc look at your wound. Yikes. You can't afford a doctor. You died of injuries. Uh-oh. Due to the unfortunate situation, there are a few formalities we must go through. Would you like a minister? Yes, yes, I would. Would you like a fancy funeral? Yes, yes, I would. Would you like us to inform your next of kin? Yes, yes, I would. That will be $4.50 for the telegraph charge. Thank you for this information. Sorry you didn't make it to Oregon. Better luck next time. Sincerely, the Oregon City Chamber of Commerce. And there you go, our very first time playing Oregon. That was on Elementary, Volume 6 in Minnesota. If we were in Elementary, this is the very first version of Oregon Trail. It's not the first educational title we played, but MECC is going to raise the level of what an educational title is. There you go, Minnesota Education Computing Consortium. All right, that was awesome. Now, it's technically released last year, so we're kind of bending the rules a little bit, but still, for the very first time you could ever play Oregon, I don't know, for an educational game, it's all right. Would you call it bad? I think you'd be forced to play it. Most of the educational games you played in school, you kind of had to. So I wouldn't really see it was bad or not. That's true. The funerals were. They didn't. I don't remember that option in the other Oregon Trail games, giving us. Do you want to do a funeral and notify your next of kin? So it's a cool idea. All right. So of all the games we played up to this point, I'm gonna say subpar. I'll say 2.5 stars. It's not really super good. It's not really super bad. It's right there in the middle. Yeah. There we go. All right, so that was the very first time you could play Oregon Trail as a little kid in Minnesota. Let's move on and see what our next game is. All right, it's time to play the Radio Shack TRS-80. It's one of the first 3 computers you could have had, and it's going to last a long time, just like the Apple II. We'll see that for a while. Let's take a look at the box for the Eliminator, which I believe we saw this on the Apple II. This will be the first time we're checking it out on the TRS-80. This is by Adventure International. Pretty cool artwork for the front. If we flip it over in the back, there's our usual Adventure International back of the box. It shows both screenshots, the TRS-80 and Apple II version, and then it shows information about the game. I actually like this formula. It shows the brief information or story or lore if it's an adventure game on one side, and then gives technical information. Like, does it have multiple skill levels? Is it graphics oriented? Is it real time? Special equipment? What classification? They call it a game simulation. Eliminator is a game. Okay, it's an arcade simulation, maybe. Yes. Oh, it won't be. Okay, that's interesting. Well, average completion time for this one is 10 minutes. Very fast, because it's an arcade game. Yeah, this is a port of Defender that you could play at on your home computer. All right, so any other artwork we have for Eliminator? There we go. The cassette tape you pop in to your TRS-80, and then an example of the screenshot. Yes, that's what we'll be playing. I'm excited. All right, this is the Eliminator. Released at some point in 1981 for the Radio Shack TRS-80. All right, so with these, we usually have to find in the directory what is the command. It looks like it's eliminate. Eliminate. And let's go. The best way to play computer games at this time is if they show you or have a splash of the commands on the main screen. Oh, nice. We got a little tune in the beginning, too. By Wayne Westmoreland and Terry Gilman. Way to go, Wayne and Terry. So there you go, copyright 1981. And if we get computer games that actually show you the commands or have a way where you can program in the commands, those are the best ones to pick up and play. If you had bought these games and got all the paperwork, it makes it a little easier, but still when the game is ready to boot up and play and it tells you what commands, I feel like those are the best. Here we go. Let's push enter to start. They have a high score table with just Wayne and Terry all over it. That's the way to do it. All right, so we have 1 or 2 players. We'll do 1 player, and we're in. So they didn't tell us the commands, but I know the TRS-80 has, yes, it has cursors, and they work. This is it. Spacebar? Yes. Wow. Whoa. That's amazing. It is Defender for the TRS-80. And man, is it Defender. Look at that. It even has the radar at the top. That's crazy. Oh, I already shot one person that was being attacked. Even though I'm dying, I gotta give it props because it's scrolling left and right, and Look at that. Wow, that's incredible. Oh man, yeah, if I had a TRS-80, this would be an excellent game. Game over, player 1. Wow. All right, let's do it again. 1 player, going in again. The biggest thing I notice about this is not just the fact that we're doing radar at the top of the screen and can scroll, but they're making the stars scroll a little different than the buildings or the towers. So as I move across, look at that. It looks like I'm not. I'm playing on 2 planes. Like I have buildings on one, and then wow, that's amazing. And they just run into someone. Oh, yep. The humans that go to the top turn into mutoids, and so they turn into the mutoid at the top. But we're not playing Defender. We're playing the Eliminator, so I don't know what they're called here. Wow. Man, the developers of the TRS-80 are blowing me away. First, we get a first-person shooter with a battle zone game, or the battle zone you can play on the TRS-80, and now we get Defender that runs like this. It's amazing. Okay, so now I actually want to pay attention to the radar as I shoot one of my own people. I'm supposed to be rescuing them. Now I want to know, can I blow everybody up? Oh, okay, nice. So he gets he gets shot. It's all keyboard controls, but it works great. The TRS-80 has the arrow keys, and that's what I'm using. No way, I got him on the last shot. Great. And then spacebar fires, and I just took a gamble thinking that's what it was. I did not know the controls. I'm just using what we see typically for the TRS-80. All right, let's go again. 1 player, here we go. All right, so we're in. I'm going to look at radar for enemies. Oh, wow, they warped in and hit me that time, but even still, this is really fun to play for TRS-80. While the graphics look like we're zooming in on like a black and white handheld, it still plays really well. It's really, really fun, and it's surprising. It's surprising that the TRS-80 is able to do this. Oh, there you go. Graphics be damned. It doesn't matter, man. It's fun. It is really fun. I didn't even know this was... Well, we knew on the Apple II it was ported here, but I actually didn't think we were going to see it. I couldn't remember if we had collected or found this one. Oh. There's the smaller aliens we saw in the arcade. Oh, they got me warping in like right on the spot of the bad guys. Yeah, that primitive parallax is what blows me away the most. Look at this, when I move across. Now I'm actually trying to play the game, and the multiple fire shots feel so much like Defender. Wow. Okay, going in again. Oh, I shot him and didn't rescue him. Darn. Sorry, buddy. Oh, the bombs, though. Oh, yeah, I haven't tried the other... I'm happy with that it can shoot, but what's the... I don't know what the... Is it Z? X? C? V? Maybe it's S for smart bomb? Yeah, I've had 3 bombs the whole time. Maybe B? No. Yeah, Defender has a lot of buttons. So I'm just moving around and shooting, and I'm happy with it. But there should be more if it really is going to copy everything that Defender does. Let's try some different ones. We did not have a manual for this one. The back of the box didn't explain fire shots, but let's see. K, P. I'm just trying every letter on the keyboard to see if that does it. Yeah, Alt is like pause. That won't do it. Anything else? No. Control. We're gonna die really fast now. Maybe 5. I wonder if it's the numbers too. So there are more controls. I just do not know what those are. But man, it's fun. Anything there? No. And how smooth it is to scroll is bizarre. It's like it's like I'm not really playing on a TRS-80. I know the graphics look primitive, but just how quickly it can scroll across, it feels like they had to break something to make this work. It's awesome. The other thing too is it's surprising. You're playing something with graphics like this, and I'm having fun, and I'm surprised I'm having fun. Wow. That's the Eliminator for the TRS-80. So we go to the next round. This is when they bump up the difficulty. You can see we got different enemies represented as squares. Looks like I don't have to catch the humans. Oh, we got another one almost mutated to a mutoid. This one, that when they drop down, then you get the points for it, which is nice. Oh, yeah. So cool. Man, that's awesome. Okay, so this is very strange because when we played it on the Apple II, it was good. It was really cool to see a Defender game so close to when Defender came out, which was February, I believe, this year. And then we get a way to play it on your home computer. But then now I play on the TRS-80, and I'm more amazed than the Apple II version. Even though the Apple II version had color graphics and looked a little better, I think it's because of how smooth this plays and how slightly simpler it is. I also didn't even use any of the other controls, but wow. I gotta give this one high marks. It's up there, above average, considering the other games we've seen. It just plays really, really well, and it's Defender, which came out this year. I'd love to know the exact release date of how close it was to the first Defender that Eugene Jarvis put out. So it's definitely going to be one of the best games you could play. I don't think I want to go all the way up there because it's a lot of fun for an arcade game. I'll do 4.5 stars. It's not the best of the best, but it's just way too fun. It works way too good for the TRS-80. That's impressive. Okay, so that's 4.5 stars for the Eliminator. I'm amazed. That's so cool. Okay, so way to go, TRS-80. You're still in the game. We won't just keep playing Coco and think that's the better one. You still are on the ropes. All right, and with that, we're going to put our video game playing on pause. Thank you so much for joining me. We got a lot more games to go through for 1981 and have a blast. Who knows what we'll see or where we'll go, but it's going to be really fun. We'll see you then. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we miss any games along the way. This video would not be possible without RetroArch and Launchbox. Please tell your friends there's some crazy guy out there trying to play every single video game. You can always check out Chronologically Gaming on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We will catch you next time.